Hello, this is the trade site U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for Thursday, May 2nd and Friday, May 3rd, 2019. Typically, we don't do market previews Thursday night going into Friday as most of the week has played out, unless something special happens on Thursday. I don't anticipate that, so I would think that this might be it for the week. In terms of market previews, obviously, we'll continue to be covering the market in real time in the lab. Here's a look at the ES front month futures contract. This is the daily chart of the broad market in futures form, which is the proper way to look at the market from a technical perspective. An outside day down here on a better volume than we've been seeing on Wednesday with the Fed announcement. Let's go through the major daily charts, then we'll look at the intraday action, see what happened, then we'll talk about what's coming the rest of the week. Crude oil down a few cents to 63.62. Gold loses $7.40. S&P cash lost 22.10. The Nasdaq, which had gapped up and was up most of the day, closed down 29.61. Again, we'll look at the intraday action here late. SOX down 12.70. Everything was down across the board. Biotech's down 27.32. Biotechs just can't get moving. Russell 2000 down 14. Also never really got moving. The VIX gains $1.68 back up to 14.80. So the risk line from that 13 secret buy signal has held, and it's still in place. The trend closes at 2.11. It's a high trend reading, puts the 10-day moving average at 1.17. Nasdaq volume 2.2 billion shares. That's one of the best volume days of the last 6 weeks, with the exception of an options expiration. The advanced decline ratio on the Nasdaq was negative 1,058, so way more stocks down than up. On the New York, negative 759. Google loses $25.64 after gapping down on Tuesday on earnings. Apple gains $9.85. It was higher most of the day and closed at the lows of the day. Netflix gains $8.27. Remember, there's a 13 secret sell signal in place here on Netflix. Amazon down 15. Tesla down $4.68. New closing lows for the year. Last 12 months on Tesla. Facebook down 37 cents. Goldman Sachs down $1.19. TLT, the 20-year bond ETF, gains 25 cents. The Dow Jones down 162. All right, let's look at the 5-minute chart. So you can see, again, it was really boring early, and it's a Fed meeting day, so you don't expect much. Yesterday afternoon was flat as well. We gapped up a little bit this morning, and then just kind of sat there for the first hour and a half, kind of made a little pop going into lunch, then drifted down and filled the gap finally in the middle of lunch, came back to the mid-ground, and then the Fed announcement came out, spiked up, kind of drifted around a little bit, and then by the time they started doing the press conference, it started to roll over, came back down to newer lows, and then sat until the last about 40 minutes of the day, and then really sold off sharply. Here's the NASDAQ 100, which had gapped up, kind of did the same type of thing, but never filled the gap early, and then in that late sell-off, crushed itself in the last 40 minutes down to the close there and more. And keep in mind, the last 3 candles are after the market. This is the cash index. I apologize. I clicked on the wrong thing. There's the NASDAQ side. Keep in mind that the last 3 candles here on the NASDAQ are after the stock market closes, right? So they were down even more than they had been during the market hours. So let's see what that means for tomorrow. Actually, let me do that. There you go. So we could be looking at, well, it depends on what happens overnight. We'll worry about that later. All right, so that's an engulfing outside day down in the futures, and we'll see what that means for everything. Now, let's take a look at, just talk about the economic data coming out. For the rest of the week, we've got the Challenger job cuts at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursday. Weekly initial and continuing jobless claims numbers at 8:30. Factory orders at 10. Natty gas at 10:30. Friday, we've got non-farm payrolls along with the unemployment rate and the trade balance number. So some really big numbers there, along with preliminary wholesale inventories at 8:30 a.m. Friday morning. That's a lot of info that could cause a gap and hopefully some excitement, at least early Friday. We all know how Friday afternoons tend to go. 9:45 a.m. final services PMI 10, non-manufacturing PMI, and then a bunch of Fed members speaking throughout the day after that. So that's about it. Charts, as usual, brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading Thursday.